Bad cam. Hello, just testing. Just doing the usual test. Blah 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 blah. Can this thing hear me? Is the voice recorder on? I have no idea. There's no green bar lighting up. I think I saw it just move. I hope it did. Yeah, it moved. Sorry if I talk loud. I'll talk normal now. Don't need that. Yes, I've had a haircut and I look like a army grunt, but there's a reason for that. It's because my hair grows like a weed, so it's just easier for me to have it short because it doesn't grow. I can not have a haircut for a while. So, hello everyone. Hope everyone's doing well out there. Let me just put my rubbish away. All good. Right, yeah, no, we're talking politics. I've got my serious face on. Yeah, got my serious face on. So basically, let's talk about what's happening in the world. We'll start with the soft stuff and then we'll move on up to the heavier stuff. And if you don't like hearing about world politics, well, this probably isn't the video for you, so that's all good. Move on to something more your taste. No worries. But like YouTube bans everything, I don't believe that YouTube will allow this video to be popular in any way. So let's get into that beyond that point, okay? Because YouTube has its own leftist bias agenda. And now me saying that's probably shadow banned this video, who knows? Not that I care. Let the people who want to hear it, and anyone that wants a differing opinion, by all means. Like, that's what this video is. That's what this is about. Why does my head look like it's on an angle? It's tilted sideways. I'm actually sitting straight. Okay, so Captain Morgan Spice Rum. This video is brought to you by Captain Morgan Spice Rum. Right, getting into this video. Okay. Starting with England. Now, England has definitely had some things out there turn around and say have not been towards the people's. Actually, I'm going to take my glasses off because they're reflecting off the screen, and it does give me a bit of a headache. I'll put those glasses back on. I think I need to go get my eyes checked. Might need an upgrade. So that's all good. So look, sorry for that. Okay, so basically, England, it's basically moved away from democracy and more towards 1984. Obviously, it's 2024, so they obviously took a bit of a laughing hint at that book. So think about that whatever you want, but okay, let's start with Scotland with their anti-hate speech laws. Okay, so to put it mildly, it is complete dictatorship in Scotland. There really is no democracy in Scotland. Like, nobody got a choice in this. Hamza Yusuf, who, by the way, doesn't even have a Scottish name, got voted in as a politician. Seriously, Scotland, why did you vote for that guy? He's a Muslim and you're Scottish. What makes you think that his interests align with your interests? It's a bad Scotland. You got yourselves to blame for that idiot. Okay, so now you're stuck with him until you can get rid of him. Your own fault. No one's going to feel sorry for you for voting in an idiot. Okay, no one. They just tend to look at that and go, well, you voted for the guy, so what can you say? I mean, this is how important your vote is. Okay, don't ever think that a vote isn't a serious matter. It is. It is the choice between your freedoms versus your your liberties, and people go on about the economy, but look, Hamza Yusuf has nothing to do with the economy. He's just doing this for himself. Okay, so let's go into some of the facts of what Hamza Yusuf's laws have done. So you've seen an autistic woman of 16 get arrested for calling a police officer a lesbian, which was the start, okay? And all of us people on the right told you this would happen. We said that if you start attacking freedom of speech, that it would also happen to you as well. So you can't tell me that someone who attacks an autistic girl, like the police, has the right mindset. I mean, they're putting burglaries and home invasions and whatnot on standby for the ability to arrest people who say something that might offend someone else. Your feelings are not as important as a person's right to live. And if you don't understand what I mean by that, somebody who goes to jail can be murdered in jail, okay? That can happen. And that possibly will if they're a soft person who is not made for jail. You understand? Like a person who isn't built for jail is going to go, sorry, I'm just straightening camera. A person who isn't made for jail, who's like a 74-year-old grandma, is possibly going to be killed in jail. You don't know that won't happen. And your right to have feelings about something means nothing, okay? I want you to think about this. Sticks and stones may hurt my bones, but words will never hurt me. Why doesn't that apply today? Who's not listening? Okay, like, why isn't this an important factor? Okay? And as for an autistic girl who's just speaking the truth, who sees it as it is, autistic people don't have a filter. You've got to understand, they don't have a filter, which means that your feelings are not important to them. As it is important, but it's not to the point where you can go, I'm going to attack that person because they said what was on their mind. Okay, back in the day, you could speak the truth and it was fine. Okay, you understand? Now you speak the truth and people get upset to the point where there's now laws being made. Okay, now you've got the mass boat immigration in Ireland, and the fact that Ireland had a little, going back to England, let's keep on England for a minute. So another major problem that we need to talk about and basically rule out as a problem ever again is, women being attacked and children being attacked by these gangs of roaming immigrants who have come across illegally on a boat. They haven't done anything legally. They've done it all incorrectly. And they're getting more rights than the citizens who pay taxes. Okay? They're getting more protection than the citizens who pay taxes. They're getting more everything. Because you're afraid to offend these people. These people are obviously not there to be your friend. They're not there. They're there illegally. You understand? They don't have the same rights as you. That's illegal to say that they would. That's basically just barging in and saying, I'm going to be a citizen of this country. That isn't how countries work. I think you people have forgotten what democracy is. And look, when it comes to serious crimes such as this, it's terrible and it should be dealt with accordingly. Now, why am I saying this? Is because a lot of these people that have done this have been released after their crimes within 48 hours. They're on the street. They're doing damage again. Okay, and there was one case where the person claimed asylum from Afghanistan because they said, if I attack children in Afghanistan, they'll kill me. Yeah, well, that's your problem, mate. You shouldn't have attacked children anywhere. Like, obviously. Why does that need to be said? Why does that need to be brought up? Children are innocent. They deserve to be protected. They are our future. It's not our job to hurt them. You understand? Hurting children is bad. So why is this even a thing? Why are we just talking about it and not acting on it? Why has there been literally no action from the English government when it comes to this? Okay, I know the English government is pretty inept. All right, I know that. I've seen that. They're about as inept as the Australian government. That's that's not a compliment. So don't think that like honestly, when you're changing leaders every 6 months, you don't know what's left or right. You don't know what's up or down. You don't know right from wrong anymore. I mean, you know there's something wrong. There has to be a limit. Where's King Charles when you need him to step in and go, okay, this is getting ridiculous, guys. We're going to go, look, do I have to bring back Magna Carta? Like, do I have to, do we have to settle this as king to his subjects? Like, how is this going to go before common sense kicks in again? And people go, okay, I'm going to listen. No, okay, you know what? Money doesn't rule everything. We're here to make the world better. We're not here to make the world worse. And bowing down to insanity is not making the world better, okay? Politics and insanity don't mix. This is insanity, okay? You have to use your brains, people. This is a known fact, okay? Using your brains is what God gave it for you. Like if he wanted you to act like an animal, he would have made you an animal. But God made you a human so that you can think for yourself and have free will and decide for yourself. Not be evil. He didn't do it so you could be evil. If you wish to be evil, that's your choice. But there should be consequences for being evil. Do you understand? Like being evil is it's not something to boast about. It's not something to be proud of. Being evil, controlling, like using the media to control speech, it's evil. Like, how is by potentially shunning like opposite opinions, is that good? They do that in Russia, people. They do that in Russia. Do we want to emulate what Russia do? Is that where we want to go in our lives? Do we want to see what Putin does to his enemies and go, oh yeah, well, we want to do that? Or do we want to go, no, we're better than that. We're better than that. We don't live our lives based on, control and things. And maybe you might say, well, Steve, you're a bit naive for thinking that. You know better. You've got common sense. You know better. You know that that's not how the world works. You know that these people have. I know. Okay, I absolutely know that. But what I have to call it out when I see it. Same as anyone else. We have to call it out, and not just call it out. We have to think of a way that's going to stop it. You understand? We have to put laws in place, whether that be, and this should apply to American politics too, a common sense test for politicians, a corruption test, an intelligence test. I don't know, but there should be some, like every other job that has curriculum you have to meet to be able to do that job. You can't just walk into a job and go, I'm going to do that job. You have to have a qualification or an expertise. Now, obviously with politicians, we can't just do that because everyone has the right to be a politician. But at the same time, there should be a curriculum that says, if you don't meet these expectations, you cannot run for office. Okay? That should just be across the board. No one should be immune to that. And that should rule out all these people that are just, flaunting their power and using it to be self-serving. I mean, there's just no need for having people like this in control. None. It doesn't help the population any. It doesn't help anyone any. And look, in every other job, we have these expectations. But for some reason, when it comes to the leaders of our country, we do not have these expectations. I'm sure even the Muslim world would feel the same, that if they could put, common sense, etc., into their system, they would absolutely apply it. Most people are people, like whatever faith you believe in and whatever you think, we're all people and we all want the same thing. So to say otherwise is silly. We all want the same thing. We want a safe place to raise our family. We want a job to go to. We want respect. We want love. Okay? We want justice in our country for the people who do bad things. And for the people that it hurts, we want justice for them. I mean, this is obvious. This is obvious. You don't have to be a media person to know that. You're just a regular Joe. And I don't understand how the media thinks we're all stupid and we're not educated. We all receive the same education as each other. None of us can step into the world without a proper education, correct? Like, even the dumbest person has that knowledge. And obviously, yes, we forget a lot when we go into the real world and we work and that. But for the most part, we are very astute to the surroundings around us and we react to that. It's mostly a reaction, right? Mostly what we do is a reaction to what we see and act on. Something bad happens to somebody we love. We want to help other people so they don't have to suffer that. That's why a lot of people go into health. They see something bad, they experience something bad, and then they go, this bad thing happened. Okay, I feel for that. It hurt me a lot, and it hurt everyone else I know and loved around me a lot, and I don't want to see that happen to someone else. So I want to go into health and stop that, if I can, or help anyone in that situation. Like, we're not all equal, okay? Like, I'll tell you something that's vitally important to society. Democracy and capitalism, okay? Those two things are vital to the survival of our human race, okay? And you might say, why not communism? Well, communism in itself is not bad. Like, nobody looks at communism and goes, the general idea of communism is bad. Like, the very concept that everyone is equal is great, okay? A lot of people, including myself, love that idea. The only problem is, the reality is that doesn't work, and no system is. You're talking about humans here, right? So humans in themselves are not equal, okay? None of us are equal. Got to get that out of your head. We're not equal, all right? We're all different. We're all separated by circumstance, but none of us are truly equal, okay? We all have our value to play, but this is where respect comes into it. This is where you've got to earn your respect. That's why that's important, you understand? So when it comes to politics and respect and expectations in society, if people respect you, they know that you're going to get things done. They know you're going to do stuff. They know that when they ask you to do something, you're going to do it. And more than that, it's about self-worth. If you're not respected, you have no self-worth. That's what I think these leftists really lose it, is because they believe they have no respect, but they don't understand that respect comes from hard work. It doesn't come from, I want this, so I'm going to get it. No. Why? What makes you think you deserve that over somebody else? That's not how respect it works. Respect is like love. It's almost like it almost runs the same trajectory as love, where you have to earn your love. Everything in that sense is very important, okay? Now, the way I think is, if I say something, I mean it. If I say I'm going to do something, I mean it. My word is my bond, okay? You understand? I have a thing called loyalty, but my word is my bond, okay? So what I say, I mean. I don't just say things because I want people to like me. I say things because I mean it, all right? And the reason why is because as a man, and this applies to all men and women, but as a man, if I don't do what I say I'm going to do, people are going to look at me and go, why should I believe that man? Why should I believe, if it's the same for a woman, why shouldn't I believe that woman? Because they say something and then they never do it. Or they just change their mind, or they do so your word means nothing, and that's how you lose respect. So to gain respect, if you can't do something, you say it. If you're going to do something, you say it. But the important thing is that you understand the power of words. You understand what it means. And the same goes back to politicians who say a lot of lies, and this is all politicians. There isn't a politician on the left or right or in the center or whatever that doesn't not stick to this. They say a lot of things in the elections and they never follow through. And nobody ever says, perhaps they're liars. Perhaps we shouldn't vote for them because they don't tell the truth. Okay, back in the day, a politician, I can tell you, an Australian politician back in the day, I saw the interview. They were talking about a particular issue. I don't know if it was gun control or something else. I can't remember what it was. The politician said, look, the way I see it is we go into that job with the expectation that we leave the place better than how we found it. And yet that is not that is not what's happening today. Okay, but that is the motto that all politicians should have. We shouldn't leave it worse than how we found it. We should leave it better. That's everyone across the world. Could you imagine how much better the world would be had people had the same mentality? Now, you don't have to solve every problem in the world. You never could. Nobody can. We're not God. Okay? But if we have that mentality, it won't matter. Because if we have that mentality, eventually we will all tackle the problems. You know, we will reduce all world problems to nothing. But it doesn't seem to be the case. Now, getting to Ireland, because we aren't talking politics, we are talking the world, all right? Okay, so Ireland had an uproar recently. Part of the issue is because of the influx of migration. The other part of the issue is because the politicians are more inclined to support illegal immigrants over the national population. That is Ireland. Really don't understand that, but there you go. Apparently Ireland people are losing, not Ireland people, Irish people are losing their homes, same as everywhere, and there's people living on the streets, and these migrants are getting put up in hotels and getting everything paid for, houses and whatnot. You know, I don't know how we can look at that and be not appalled and say shame on you, Ireland. Shame, but it gets more shame. You know, when a little girl is attacked and they protect the criminal, you know, that's crossing a line. Do you understand? That's crossing a line that cannot be stood for. You know, there has to be repercussions. There has to be an investigation, judges having a look at this, lawyers and police looking into this and going, hang on a minute, you know, the little girl, she should be protected, you know, and her rights have been infringed. Her safety has been infringed. She has been violated and hurt in a way that should never have happened and we should never have let happen. And we cannot stand for that. And we need to put laws in place to make sure that that never, ever happens again. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Okay, there has to be repercussions. We can't live our lives with the expectation that nothing ever happens to people who make bad decisions. That is why you have investigations like royal commissions and corruption inquiries and whatnot. Like, these things are important. Okay, there has to be a line. And these people have to face consequences. There has to be consequences. Consequences are what guides bad people from doing wrong. Okay? Inherently bad people from doing wrong. And for some reason, these people always end up in positions of power. I couldn't tell you why that is. I mean, I suspect it's because of their personality, but you know, in all seriousness, like, no, they cannot just continue like this. The world cannot continue like this. It is not healthy. Okay, it is beyond healthy. This is a septic wound that is now taken hold. Okay, this is cancer stage 4. This is bad. Okay, like, the world needs to have a healing. This is not healing the way that we are going. Okay, wars, you know, corrupt decisions which aren't good for anyone. And I mean, people think that inflation, these big businesses aren't hurt. Well, I can tell you that they are. Why do you think there's less jobs? Why do you think that, you know, these businesses aren't taking the advantage of going out and, like, you know, we have mining companies in Australia that basically pulled the pin on certain projects because this inflation, all right? They pay taxes, same as us, and they're subject to, look, okay, they get away with a lot, but at the same time, the word give and take, I wish you could understand. It's not a simple process. You've got to remember, a big company like that, it's not just one person. You might have a figurehead which makes like a significant amount of money, like the owners, but they don't do the speaking for that company. They don't make all the decisions. A lot of them just receive the money They might sit there on the panel and go, yeah, okay, I'm happy with that plan, or I'm not happy with that plan. But it's not a simple thing. You have lawyers check into it. You have financial experts, people that talk to the government that say, can we build here? Can we do this? Blah blah blah. And they'll say, oh yes or no. Can we get the rights to these resources? Hang on a second. Come here. I can't reach you. Come here. Say hello. Yeah, come on. Say hello. Just wait for some. There we go. There we go. Come on, say hello to the camera. All right. Yeah. So these things are important, So just trying to get it back. Yeah. No, don't run. Stay with your Steve. Stay with your Steve. No, stay. Anyway, so so it's not a simple thing, right? So don't look at it like that. And considering that big business employs the majority of people, you've got to look at it like that as well. There's a reason why people choose to work for big business. Okay, there's security in their job, there's structure, there's a plan. They generally promote positive thinking, etc. Like there's a reason why people choose big business to work for. There's a reason why big business exists. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with small or medium business. I'm just saying they all have their place. Don't look at it as they're the bad guy. Okay, that's probably not the way to look at it. The way to look at it is probably they do their job, they make money. I do. If I work for them, I can make money. I guarantee a future for my family. Like that's the kind of thing you think about. So that's basically what that is. And yeah, talking about skipping across the pond to America. Before we get to the Middle East, geez, I told you we're going to go softball before we go hardball. We're building up to the heavy hitter stuff, right? So that's what's happening in England. Okay, so there's a lot of bad things. And I will say, with the thing with Hamza Yusuf in Scotland that disappoints me is that there's been a lot of complaints made about the Scottish government about hate speech to the Scottish police, about them attacking, anti-white hatred and things like that. And it's proven on video. Like there's video evidence of them standing in Senate going, I hate white people. That's what that is, right? I personally don't hate white people. I don't hate anyone. But let's get back to the point. You can't do that, okay? You can't do that, and Hamza Yusuf should suffer his own. He should be Robespierre, and he should suffer from his own laws, basically. Robespierre ended up. Look, that was an extreme case, but the point is that his own way of thinking hurt his, basically just turned the people against him. And in this case, Hamza Yusuf has done the same thing. We've repeated history. Congratulations. But in the case of Hamza Yusuf, he seems to have the authorities don't seem to want to touch him, which is incorrect. Okay, like Anakin Skywalker with the lightsaber, blah. It's incorrect. Right, this is not acceptable. So all I can say is, yeah, it's the amount of complaints that have been made against Hamza Yusuf and his anti-white rhetoric and he's basically a Black Panther. He should be held accountable for his words. I mean, if you're going to arrest a 74-year-old woman and threaten to put her in jail, if not put her in jail, and 16-year-old girls, well, Hamza Yusuf isn't special. He's just a man, just like any other man, and he needs to be held accountable for his actions, whatever position of. And he, of all people, should know better. All right, being in a position of power like politician, you should absolutely be mindful of your actions and etc. There should be an accountability there. There should be like, well, so you should be holding the Scotland Yard to their. You should be saying, look, there's been many complaints, and yet you haven't acted. Why? Why is there no action? Who do we have to speak to make sure that there's some action taken? Because him being a politician does not give him special rights. It doesn't give him immunity, right? He's a citizen the same as anyone else. He's just got a position where the people have said, we elect you to enact rights in our best interest, which he has not done. Okay? That is the job of a politician. That is what a politician does. Okay? They're not, as far as control goes, like, they've all taken their power too far. And the pain that has caused people is unnecessary. Like, he has done more damage than good. He has left Scotland worse than what he found it. He's not upheld what we were talking about earlier about politicians should be, their motto should, it has to be that they're going to leave the world better than what they found it. Not should, it has to be. There has to be this accountability. There has to be this action and this way of thinking. Okay, so it's not optional. There has to be a way to hold these politicians to account. No one can get away with what they want. We all have bosses. We all have expectations. Why would a politician be any different? Why would you think any different of a politician? Okay, they answer to the collective group of people. It doesn't mean they get voted out. It means that if they make bad decisions that hurt other people, they should be held accountable to that. Okay, there's no excuse for it. All right, there is none. So that's not me being naive. That's being me having an expectation of society. So let's skip across the pond to America. So let's start talking about. We'll start with justice. I'm going to start with Trump. So Trump is basically being trialed and controlled by the Biden government. And no one can say otherwise. That is what is happening. Okay, the Biden government answers to Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. That is unacceptable truth, unequivocal truth. Okay, that's what I meant to say. Doing the Biden thing, not getting the words mixed up. Yes, that's an unequivocal truth. That is what it is. That everyone knows. Okay, everyone knows. This is no secret. Everyone knows that the mainstream media, who have had an unwarranted amount of control over the word of what happens in politics and spreading information, is a bunch of liberal liars, is what you could say. That's the absolute truth. That's the absolute truth. You can't say anything else. That is absolute. That's absolute. And to say that and to not act on that. Now, I thought media was supposed to be unbiased. I thought they were supposed to give us the information and let us make our own minds up. Somewhere along the lines, the owners of these media companies have decided, and it's across all the Western media. This is not just subject to America. It's across all of Western media. This is no, okay? And somewhere along the lines, these CEOs basically put their own political opinion on what happens in the media. Now, that's not acceptable. It's completely unacceptable. You were there to give us the information of what current events are happening when you're talking about the news. Anything else, if it's a political show like The View, say whatever you want. Okay, say whatever you want because it's your show. You can say what you want. Just maybe put a disclaimer saying the views of The View are not necessarily accepted by everyone in the general public, and these are the personal views of the host, blah, blah, blah. Whatever, just say something like that, and that's fine. Say whatever you want. Say whatever you want, it doesn't matter. But don't sit there and tell us that your view is correct and everyone else's view is wrong, because that's not how politics work, and that's not how people think, okay? I'm not always right, and I will accept that. Okay, I am just, I don't always have all the information. Even when I do, I'll still have my own bias. I'll still have my own expectations, but I would never press my beliefs on someone else and say this is fact. Okay, it's not fact. You don't know. I don't know all the time. I know a lot of things, but I don't know that. So we have to accept that. That is how it is. Okay, and to say otherwise is silly. And that would be disrespecting other people's opinion and beliefs. So it's wrong. You can't do that. All right, you have to let other people have their voice. It's complete disrespect if you do not allow for these things. Okay, so that's how it is. So as for this Trump investigation, right, we know that it's all false. All right, we know that that's unequivocally the truth. We know that this is a stitch up to keep him out of the election, and it's probably to try and force him away, because he knows that they know that if it's Biden against Trump absolutely wins without a doubt. Like, no one can deny that. No one can deny that. Trump's probably got like a 90% rate of he's going to win. Right? That's a known fact. All right. Think what you want about Trump, but Trump hasn't. Okay, let's talk about his crimes. It's the same crimes that Biden's committed. All right. And the thing is, like, you turn around and say he can't look at take home classified documents. He's the president. He can do what he wants when he was the president. That's the right of the president, right? And so unless those documents had some sort of secrecy act on them for like many years, I just don't see how you can hold that man to account for that. So you couldn't do that. So you go after his business dealings and his business. That ain't right. That's a lie. And everyone knows it. Everyone knows it across the world. No one actually believes for that Trump is actually guilty of anything. All right? Nobody believes that. So you should probably stop pushing that narrative on people, because people aren't going to believe it. And who are you trying to fool when you spread lies like that? That's what I could say to the media. Who are you trying to fool? Who are you, like these liberals? Like, who are you trying to fool and prove? You're only fooling yourself. You're not fooling me. You're not fooling Joe Bloggs down the streets. You're not fooling the gas station guy. You're not fooling the garbage man. You're not fooling anyone. Nobody believes that nonsense. All right? No one. Okay? Because if anyone actually believed it, there would be proof everywhere. There would be absolute proof. There would be like, oh, look, here's the proof. Here's the proof. That is how the justice system is supposed to work. That you have proof, and then you act on the proof. You are innocent until proven guilty. These media outlets have completely shambled the trial, because basically what they're doing is they're trying to turn it into kangaroo court, and you just can't do that, right? Now anyone on the jury who watches the news is going to go, oh, I don't know. So now that you've done that, you've completely you've made the case completely. It's one of those things that basically it is. Okay, so you've made the case. Basically, there's going to be bias, and there's going to be, now there's speculation that what's being said and what's being done is not true. So, and it's been shambled by the media, who's trying to manipulate your mind into believing their case. I didn't know the media were a bunch of lawyers. I didn't know that they had the right to dictate thought in a court case and lead an investigation on. That's what the media has done. Right? It's criminal. It's criminal because they're basically they're impeding an investigation. That's illegal. You can't do that. You can't impede an investigation. And they're, like the Stephen Colberts, the Don Lennons, all those guys, and all those people, the Seth Rogans, all the Hollywood people, that because they don't want Trump to get in power, for their own reasons. Now, why do you think that is, actually? Why do you think they don't want Trump in power? There has to be a reason for that nobody's talking about. And they've tried to push every mind aside and say, don't look at us, look at him. Well, we're not. we're looking at you. Hang on, we're looking at you. So why are you trying to hide this? What are you hiding from us? And this is where I'm going to get into the big one, as far as American politics is concerned. Well, getting into that though, I want you to think about this. Biden did the same crime. Okay, Hunter Biden, drug possession, blah 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 blah. Everyone knows about that. Okay, why hasn't he faced crimes? Okay, he's not a politician. He's just a regular guy like you and me. Why hasn't he faced crimes? Justice. Hillary Clinton, not a politician anymore. Done a lot of bad to a lot of people. Hurt a lot of people. Suspected of killing people, even who've spoken out about the Clinton Foundation, who've spoken out about Bill and her, who've mysteriously just died. People don't mysteriously die. There's no such thing as coincidence. Use your brain. Everyone's aware of what's going on. This is the same as assassination. Okay? Everyone knows this. Let's call a spade a spade. All right? Hasn't faced crimes for what she's done. No one's investigated it. None. There's been none. Bill Clinton. Proven fact. Recent released documents. He's traveled to a certain island 26 times. Interesting. Doesn't seem to be in jail though. Doesn't seem to be facing a serious court case. Same with Prince Andrew. Why? What makes them special that they can avoid, that they can do what Richard Nixon could not? Please explain that to me. Please explain why the FBI have illegally had this information for the past 4 years and not acted on it. Why have they done nothing? What is their job? Who's in charge of the FBI? Why have they impeded this investigation? Why aren't they up for corruption charges? Why is it that innocent children have been hurt and nothing has been done? We talk about the fact that that there's a child ring out there. I can't say it on YouTube, but you know what type of ring I'm talking about, where children are deliberately harmed and used as commodities. I think that's the right way to word around YouTube's little bias. And the expectation is that 4 million children suffer this every year. And after watching The Sound of Freedom, it says that it's become more powerful than drugs. Like this commodity has become more powerful than drugs, which means there's a lot of bad people out there. Which means that there's a lot of bad things that have happened, and no justice has been given to these families. And as a person that believes deeply in justice, I can't understand that. I can't understand how, like I said, children are the most precious thing, right? This is not me saying that. This is a fact. This is God's word, okay? This is across the board, across all religions and across all faiths and across all countries. Children are to be protected at all costs, okay? A child's life is worth more than an adult's, always. Always. There's no adult that's worth more than a child's life, all right? And the fact that we would put an adult who's harmed them and not show that these children's lives were worth something by bringing these people to justice is not acceptable. It's not acceptable, and I don't know how. Look, there has to be an investigation into the FBI and their actions. There has to be. There cannot be nothing. Nothing is not acceptable. Okay, nothing is it's not acceptable. All right, there has to be a reason. They have to present a reason why this case why there's been no action. Why 2 people have been arrested, but yet the others. Why this certain island has not been investigated with cadaver dogs and the whole shebang, like these DNA checking people while things haven't been dug up, while the employees of this island have not been arrested and interrogated. There has to be repercussions, and how is anyone supposed to heal if there is no justice? All right, you're not supposed to be able to get better justice from crime, like the mafia or bikers or what do they, the Chinese mafia, what do they call themselves? The I don't remember actually. It starts with a T, I think. That's the Japanese mafia. Chinese mafia. Oh bugger! I forgot the name. They're big, they're powerful, but you would probably get more justice from them, right? And that's not right. You shouldn't be able to get more justice from them. They're supposed to be on the opposite end of crime, not the justice dealing side. You know what I mean? No one should have to say that. That should not be a thing. Oh, now it's annoying me. I wish I could remember the name. I can just remember playing the GTA games and these names get thrown around and I can't even remember. Very powerful organizations, so very, very powerful. But lots of money, lots of people, lots of will to do things, but very powerful. Anyway, regardless of that, getting back to the point, yes, there should be you should be able to turn to the people that represent you as law-abiding people and that uphold the law to dish out the justice that you desire. That's within the confines of the law. But that doesn't happen, and these laws just keep getting bent and changed to suit these criminals. This is not acceptable. Okay, changing laws to suit criminals is not acceptable. Come here. Come here. I can't reach you properly. And so I'm sorry, I've got to find out what the name is. It's bugging me now. I must know. Chinese. Triad. I knew it started with a T. I knew it started with a T. Aha! So I was at least knew something. Anyway, so skimming across the pond. So so look, as far as all this goes, these crimes are just not acceptable. These people should be held to account. It shouldn't matter who you are. They keep talking about it and nobody has acted on it. So why? There needs to be a public hearing, and people it should be specifically on this target, and they should be like, okay, explain. Tell us. Go on, tell us. Because we want to know, and if you cannot answer, we're putting you under arrest. That's what it should be. Be like, if you do not have an answer for it, so it's reasonable and acceptable, you are going to jail. Because as far as we're concerned, you've impeded an investigation, and that's criminal. It's a criminal act. You were the head of a department that didn't uphold the law. You were in charge of that, so time to go to jail. That's it. So as far as that's concerned, perhaps that's what needs to happen with the FBI. That's how I would handle it. As for Joe Biden, who's done the same crimes as same crimes as Trump, except he's Chinese made, who cleans his house, found his documents. I don't know why she told me anymore. I imagine that would cause her a lot of trouble. But let's just say they said he was too mentally unwell to stand trial. Well, why has he got this? Why is a mentally unwell person with the ability to control the most powerful country in the world and have his finger on the most powerful nuclear arsenal in the world and military? Does that even make sense? How has he not been impeached at this point? Why? Like, okay, so you don't hold him, you don't take him to jail for these crimes because of what you said. Right, fine. But that means he can no longer run as the president. All right, that has to happen. Anyone that says otherwise is insane. Anyone that wants a senile old man who doesn't know what's going on anymore, proven by the court of law to be in charge of global politics, nuclear weapons, and the most powerful military in the world, I think you're insane. In fact, that is the definition. I would say that goes to the definition of insanity. It's more than what Albert Einstein said. He was right about that, but he's talking about scientific perspective, not about a moral perspective. And morally, it's completely wrong. Common sense tells us it's wrong, so it shouldn't be done. So why is it done? Okay, why is that the case? I go back to having these expectations that you have to have for a job. Why isn't that the same for politics? Why is he in a position of power? He doesn't deserve to be in a position of power anymore. He's no longer medically fit to run as president. Why is he in there? Why has no one done anything? Why do we all just go along and pretend like he's a capable person? Because we all know he's not. Okay? We all know the janitor could go up there and do a better job. The White House janitor could probably go in there and have more to sort out, and he probably would. He probably would. This is fact. Why is that the case? All right. Now, getting to the Middle East, we'll finish in the Middle East. The most heavy topics are and Ukraine and Russia. We'll quickly go to Ukraine and Russia. Well, there doesn't seem to be any progression there from Ukraine over the last year, which they said there would be. I think that it's the way they've handled the war. They've acted like a fist. They've acted like a bunch of fingers pushing against another bunch of fingers, right? They've spread their forces out and they're touching a lot of different things. Fine, okay? But it doesn't work to take land back. You need to be bang. You need to push through. It has to be a hard smack. You know, those tanks that we sent them, they should be used as rolling thunder, okay? Those drones, everything. They should lead the charge of the tanks, hit anything heavy in artillery, and use tanks to squash anything soft. All right, they have to use them like cavalry. All right, there has to be a smash. All right, absolutely, there needs to be a real hard push on Russia, and they've got to stop pussyfooting around and being afraid of losing people, because all war is death. All right, so people die, well, that's it. So that's the only thing you're going to know about war. Okay, there's no winning or losing, there's only death. Right? That's all there is. That's the only lesson you need to learn. People die. Okay? A lot of innocent people, a lot of non-innocent people. A lot of people, just people. People die. That's the only thing you need to take away from war. Okay? So Russia has threatened nuclear strikes against Ukraine for the last year. Now, I don't know if that's true, but we should not underestimate Russia and not underestimate their capability to do that. Why the directly being affected have not put their jets in Ukraine and put a no-fly zone and basically running missions into Russia to destroy their nuclear facilities, I don't know. I mean, that's what I would do, and there would be a considerable push in a single place at a time. I would basically be like a hammer. There would be no chance for the Russians. All right, they're spread thin. They've been weakened significantly. Use that advantage and start smashing the lines to pieces. All right, that's what you do. All right, if you can't get your ground forces in, use your Navy and Air Forces to completely annihilate the ground. You flatten cities if you have to. All right, you've got to accept you can be the bad guy in war. There is, from one side or another, they'll look at it, you're the bad guy. All right, accept it, own it, be the bad guy, because that's how you win. All right, you have to be convicted to deal out the justice that needs to be done, to deal out enough punishment and pain somebody don't want to fight anymore. All right, that's how winning is done. It's not about being fair. It's not about, I mean, when they talk about having weapons that, you know, oh, we can't make a weapon that shoots further than what the Geneva Convention says, blah, blah. Says who? I mean, who decides that? If I'm a military contractor designing a weapon, I'm not designing it to meet with criteria. I'm designing it to be better than everything, so that I know that when my weapon is fired, it's going to destroy whatever it is aimed at, and that my enemies will have nothing that can defeat it. That's how I'm going to look at it. I'm pretty sure that is how military contractors look at it, but that's regardless of the point. Like, you know, we always talk about rules of engagement. What rules? What rules are you talking about? You're talking about being nice in war? Nice when you're killing each other? No, there's no nice. There's no such thing as nice. There's winning or losing, death or living. That's it. There is no other options. If you can't accept that, then you shouldn't be in war. You shouldn't be doing war. Okay, that's how war is made. That's how war is done. Okay, lastly, we'll talk about Israel and Iran, which I think is the biggest conundrum. So basically, Israel and Iran are faced with striking each other. There is no winning there. Okay, I believe it will drag the Middle East into a war. And I'm not trying to get religious here, but if you look at all the case for revelations, we are in those times. Okay, we've had pestilence with COVID-19. We're having war now. If this, one of the things that the revelations reveal was, if it's true, is that, well, I mean, it's not really a big surprise since everyone knows the history of the Middle East, but the Middle East will bring the world into a massive war, which it seems to be. And my concern is that they say that rivers of blood will occur, like knee-deep blood, as my friend told me. If that's true, then God help us all. But, I hope not. But from what I can see, times of tribulation seem to be on the cards, and if not already are. No point ignoring the warning signs that are right in front of you. Accept what they are. Just also know that you cannot do anything to change it. We are all powerless to change whatever happens at this point. All right, so don't look at yourself and blame the thing. There's anything you can do. There's nothing anyone can do. Not even people in positions of power can do anything to stop this. All right, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. All right. All you can do is just do your best. Try and be prepared. Try and be a good person. Hopefully it's enough. Hopefully we can be the voice of reason that stops getting to that point. But I don't see how that's going to happen. Something bad is going to happen if that's the case. If this Iran or Israel thing is what I think it is, I mean, we could be looking at Israel, who have categorically said that if they face annihilation, if they have no choice, they will release the Samson project or Samson plan, which is basically if they go down, they take everyone down with them. So basically, the Samson plan is basically to nuke everything. So if Israel face annihilation, they will nuke everything. They got the power to do it, so don't underestimate. So it's possible that the actions of Iran could lead to that. That would be a terrible option, but I don't know how this turns around. I don't see how this gets better. I don't even see how the UN or any of the allied countries of these countries are going to stop this. They've both given each other a black eye now. It started. You can't stop it. It is what it is, guys. And I'll pray for us. That's all I can do. There's nothing else I can do. And hopefully God will forgive us for our sins. That's it. There's nothing else you can do. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I've been wrong about this stuff many times. Many times I believed that the world was, going to come to a nuclear war, but it didn't happen. So all I can say is, if there's a chance that won't happen, thank God. I don't know how you stop it. I don't think you can. And I guess we're going to have to wait and see what happens, and hopefully common sense prevails. Hopefully, the goodness in people comes out, and we all look after each other. Like if something bad happens, that we're all there to go, well, actually, we weren't all responsible for this. So we're going to make sure that we all won't suffer because of the actions of a few. That's all I can say, really. I hope that's enough for everyone. That will we'll work on this video, and we'll talk about, I have a lot of heavy topics here, so let's hope that, that's all I can do. I can only talk about it. You understand? I can't do anything about it. I can talk about it. And hopefully that's enough to do something. Peace.